So today I'm going to be showing you a bunch of brushes from a company called Fuumuui, and this is how you spell their brand name. And basically, these are some brushes that I've never seen before. I got these all basically as a sample. They reached out to me and really didn't know what to expect when they offered, but having used these for a little bit now, I'm actually really impressed. And some of you may have seen my previous review of these brushes here. So they come with this kind of copper ampule, coated copper ampule, it's coated with zinc, and then you can see sort of screwed in like that, okay? But it's a single brush. But if you have a look at this new design that Fuumuui have come up with, basically you can see it unscrews from both ends. So you've got like two copper handles. So that one there is for a round brush, and if you unscrew the other side, you've got a cat's tongue brush for the head. So that's really cool that you can fit two brushes essentially in to the same space. Of course, this handle is going to be floating around somewhere, but when you're traveling or you just want to have a minimalist kind of kit, I think this is incredible, because while I was traveling last year, I brought along this set of 3 plus a mop brush, but I did really wish I had like a flat brush, something smaller as well to detail. And I think this is going to be fantastic because for example, on this one you've got just that, you've got a tiny number 2 brush on that side, and the other side is a flat brush there, and the actual brushes are made of wood, you can see, and also they're these copper sort of screw-on bits, hardware, and the handles are made of copper as well, coated with zinc. And overall the quality is pretty incredible, especially at this price point. The brushes are made of synthetic material, so the actual brush tips are synthetic Squirrel, I believe they mention on their website. And these synthetics have really come a long way. Find they actually last longer than the sable brushes that I've once upon a time used in the past. They're also obviously cruelty free with these synthetic tips. And I really like this one here. This is a dagger brush. You can see number 8 dagger brush, which you can use to get in some nice squiggly lines, branches, that kind of thing. You've got a number 10 round brush on this side, so like quite a large one, which is good because you can cover larger areas. So I've shown you the detailing and the flat brush. That one is a number 6 round and a cat's tongue. So really nice assortment of brushes to use, and it also comes in this little carry case here. So basically just slot them in, and there's a little area here that you can slide the cover over. And Fuumuui have also sent me a bunch of these watercolor mop brushes, and they're all made of synthetic hair. I'll link all these brushes down in the description below. So to the left here, there's a squirrel hairbrush, and there's a really nice kind of engraved design here on the side. It's a number 8 and feels really soft. And this is one of the most essential brushes to have in watercolor, because it can carry a lot of water, get in large washes, but still has a sharp tip so you can detail. Okay, so all of these are made of natural hair. I'm not sure what these ones are actually made of, but this one's made of squirrel. And I think the value for money here is incredible, because these cost a fraction of the price of some very expensive brushes that I have in my collection as well, and they perform just as well. So if you're looking for a mop brush, I think this is a really good place to get started. So apart from the hairs here up the top, you can see there's obviously different kind of animal hair that they're using for these other 2 brushes, but in terms of how much water they pick up, all of them have a really large capacity, sharp tip, nice wooden handles, and they are painted, so they're not. This one here doesn't actually, I don't think the squirrel one is painted. This one is actually just bare wood and it's engraved directly onto it. I think the Squirrel one has to be my favorite of the three. All right, so let's test out these three brushes first. And yeah, let's just sort of see what kind of marks they can make. Oop, I was trying to screw that one on the end. So that's a number 6 round. And yeah, I do find that they're quite nice in the hand. Would be nice if the handles were like a little bit longer. So that's compared to another set that I have here. But it's still perfectly fine. I do like that it's got a kind of gold, gold color to it as well. So let's dip that into a bit of water. I'm just going to pick up any sort of paint. And this is the cat's tongue brush. So yeah, straight away I'm noticing this thing is picking up a lot of water. And that is good because I don't want to always continually have to go back and reload the brush. Yeah, this is quite a nice sort of brush. I don't normally use a cat's tongue brush. I know some people do use it to paint like leaves and things, so you can go like that and create like a leaf sort of shape maybe, But personally, I mean, I'll just use this maybe to draw branches, that kind of thing. Let's screw this back on and we'll open up the other side, which is just the number 6 round brush. Okay, and typical sort of round brush. It's got a nice spring to it, all these brushes. So if I may paint a little person there. There we go. There's a figure. Here's another one here. We just pick up some thicker paint. Let's see how it handles some really thick paint. Like that. It feels great. Really nice, and there's a nice spring to it, which you need in order to detail. That's for sure. Let's draw some shapes. And picking up a fair bit of water. So yeah, in terms of a round brush, this definitely passes the test for me, and very usable. Nice spring and water retention. Let's have a look at this other one here. So this is the dagger brush that I really wanted to try out, number 8 dagger brush. And maybe I'll pick up some blue or purple over here. Let's have a look. Ooh. That's pretty cool. So if you want to get in like some loose kind of branches and that kind of thing, this is absolutely perfect. You can get such a thin line. Look at that. It's like razor thin sort of line, but then you press down, you can turn it into this larger brush stroke as well. So it's quite a versatile brush. I mean, I haven't used one of these before, so yeah, I find if I don't have to switch brushes too much, that's better. So yeah, if you have one brush that can do a few things, it's less time that you're going to swap around the brushes and potentially for the painting to start to dry and cause issues. So yeah, it does hold a surprising amount of water as well. You do have to hold it pretty lightly in order to get that like really thin line though. So yeah, but I think this will be great for like getting in grass, little grassy effects, that type of thing, shrubs, stuff like that. And even if you want to put like a mountain or something in the background, you can get that all in one quick wash like this, and then over the top you can just start putting in some trees and coming in the foreground, all with the same brush. So it's a very versatile brush. This is the number 10 brush now. And this one is important because not everyone's going to be carrying around a mop brush with them when they're traveling or, just outside sketching. So the number 10 brush, it should be able to pick up a fair bit of paint and get you by for those larger washes. So yeah, if I just start here, yeah, there we go. It does pick up quite a bit of water. So that could be, I don't know what that could be, something in the background. A rock or something. Then we could put some trees in here. Another tree here, perhaps. Okay. And we can put in some branches maybe. So you can still get some really nice sharp lines as well. Look at that. Put a person here maybe. Put another person here. Yeah, so this is good for like a maybe A5 size, a smaller size painting, where you might want to put in like a sky in a cerulean blue or something like that. You can see you've got to go back to it a couple of times to pick up more paint, but that's going to be enough. Because when you play around with those really teeny-weeny brushes, like a round brush, a really small round brush, trouble with those is that you just have to keep going in too many times, and by the time you've mixed up your paint, the wash is already dried. So you want it to remain wet sometimes like this, so you can drop in other colors, different effects, that kind of thing. So it's sort of a bit of wet and wet work like this. Maybe I pick up some yellowy color or something here. Oops. Blend that down. See, check that out. It's quite, does pick up quite a bit of paint. I don't think I need to bring the mop brush with me. If I just had this, the less you have to carry around, the better as well. You can put in like a tree or something here. Just a quick little thingamabob. Not bad, not bad. Let's see how it goes with these like shadows or like a larger. Yep, nice sort of action and spring to the tip. Okay, if you look at the tip, it like holds and retains its shape. You can be relatively rough with this thing as well, which is, I find with these synthetic brushes, they stand up to a fair bit of scumbling on the page. All right, so this is the flat brush and detailing brush. So let's check out the flat brush first. I'm quite excited about this one. Will be great to put in buildings and stuff. So it's, I'm mixing a bit of like brown, maybe like that. And you can see and get some nice crisp, sharp edges. Maybe some blue. Let's just draw this out a bit more. That's not blue, purple. Okay, maybe some more water. Look, it doesn't pick up a whole lot of water. So this is something you'd use when you're painting maybe smaller objects. Okay, as you can see, there's not many sort of hairs on this brush. So it's more for very, I guess, careful detailing work. For example, if you want to maybe make the background a little bit darker for this one, you might pick this out and cut around the edges like that. Hasn't dried completely yet, but you get the idea. So then you form a nice kind of crisp edge. Maybe this could be like a night sky or something like that. If I do it for all of these areas, though, it's probably going to be a bit much. We'll try, see what we can do. I mean, yeah, it's still okay. If you want to do like a night sky or something, like a city skyline effect. like that. You have to load up that brush quite a few different times though. But you know, if you're painting small, it's no big deal. You probably paint up to A4 size with this brush, maybe A3 if you are painting sort of smaller bits and pieces. So I guess this is I don't know, my kind of imagined city skyline type of scene, night scene. Let's put in a bit of green or yellow, whatever I have here, into the base. Maybe I can get in a person, a figure or something as well. Let me try. Oops. Put someone over the top, some people here just walking around maybe. This guy can be a bit larger, walking around in the front. Okay. Like that. Yeah, not bad for like a little flat brush. And I'll put that back on as well. The kind of spring is there as well on the flat brush. So you can see here, I'm sort of, if you move that brush around, it springs straight back, but it still is soft enough. And let's have a look at this one. This is the detailing brush. So it's almost the size of some of my rigger brushes in terms of the smaller sort of tip. So you can really get in some sharp lines. It's usually better if you don't pick up too much paint with the rigger, because otherwise when you first put the brush down, it's going to kind of clump with a big blob of paint initially. But this is going to be good for, you know, painting branches. Sometimes, you know, when you're putting perspective lines in and just little subtle lines here and there, this is going to be good. It's also, I don't know, maybe if you're doing very, very small figures and people that are carrying things like a bag or that kind of thing, you can indicate that. I don't know what I'm trying to do here, but just sort of get someone holding something. Yeah, it's quite... I do like how it just has such a nice spring and feel to it. The worst thing is having a detailing brush that flops around and lacks control. Okay, because I'm a very loose painter myself, so if I lose control at this stage where I'm doing very, you know, loose detailing, I can really just lose whatever I'm trying to paint. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. All right, so let's have a play around with these three mop brushes now. I've got the number 8 of the Squirrel mop brush. So I'm going to pick up a bit of blue and see how we can get this in. So this, as you can see, it's picking up so much paint. And that's the great thing about these mop brushes. Look at that. You can cover like half the page, essentially. Let's see if I can paint in some details in the background, like a bit of the, I don't know, some mountains or something here in the background. Some distant mountains like this. Okay, because you have a nice sharp tip, you can see it's really easy to get in details all the way in the back, and it sort of feathers them in as well. Let's see if I can get in some trees and, I don't know, details. So here maybe I can just add in another tree. That's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm just using one brush. If I put a person here, maybe. Yep. Another one here. Birds. Some dry brush for the mountain areas. Yeah, look at that. That is really good for a single mop brush. Yeah, and the quality is incredible. I mean, it's really indistinguishable from some of my more expensive Squirrel mop brushes that cost 3 to 4 times the price. And yeah, it feels exactly the same. So let's try these two mop brushes, and you can see they have slightly different heads. The hair's different. And apart from that, pretty much the same. There's some changes here to the top part of the brush. Now I'll just use this one first with this kind of just a monotone hair color, lighter hair color, and pick up a bit of brown. So you can see it's like staining the brush straight away almost as soon as I... oh, no, that's all right. It's gone fine. Maybe if you have like a staining color. So, yep. This works just as well as the Squirrel mop brush, but it feels like there's just it has a little more spring to it. A tiny bit more spring to it than the Squirrel brush. So if you see, when I press both of them down, the Squirrel brush seems to deform a bit more compared to this one here. So maybe if you need a mop brush, or you want a mop brush that retains its shape better, this could be a good little option. I'm just trying to put in some mountains, some distant mountains. Maybe I can get some clouds in or something up here. Just a quick little impression, I guess, of some clouds. Like that. And then here at the base, again, let's just put in some like trees or something. Yeah, this one allows me to detail much better. I'm actually thinking... Now I'm actually thinking I prefer the action of this brush over the Squirrel mop brush, but I really like the look of the Squirrel mop brush, but this one just gives you a little bit more control and sharpness, as you can see. I'm going to put a person here as well. Yeah, there we go. Put the people there. I mean, they're all pretty good, but again, yeah, this one's just got a bit of extra control. Okay, so I'm going to use this last mop brush now, and yeah, it's like a kind of duotone hair, so darker at the tip and lighter down below, and like it feels pretty soft. It feels pretty soft. Let's see how it goes in terms of this wash. And I might just go in with a bit of a warmer value here, like some orange or something. Like that. Bit of an orangey, warmer color. Moving down the page. Okay. It does pick up a ton of water, just like the others. Let's try getting in some of these little details. Like that. Gonna get in like a distant rock or something. Some rocks. That. Bring this down further. Yeah, really, I can't tell a whole heap of difference between this one and this one, but yeah, I do find that the tip just remains a little bit sharper and yeah, holds its, I guess, rigidity a bit better than the Squirrel mop brush. So interesting. Put in a bit of like lighter color here for the ground. Yep, kind of like a yellowy white color for the ground, maybe. Let's just blend this all in like this. Yeah, almost like a desert sort of scene. Not bad, I don't mind that. Back to the darker value here. Right. Put in a person in the background. And holding something in the hand. Yeah, these are great. I think they're fantastic little upgrades to the mop brushes that I have anyway, which are starting to wear thin now. So yeah, just surprised at how good they perform compared to more expensive brushes that I have. I really can't tell the difference with this Squirrel mop brush, and this is the first time that I've used sort of other brushes, other mop brushes that are made of animal hair, because I've only used or animal hair other than Squirrel anyway. So I've got a bit of 100% cotton paper here. I want to do a bit of a line and wash sketch with all of these brushes combined. So I'm going to draw in this kind of house, and I'm going to simplify this a fair bit. Right, just a real quick sketch because I don't want to spend all day on this. Very basic sort of line and wash sketch. Put a tree here, maybe. A tree of some sort. Maybe like a shrub here, another shrub or bush there. And then a tree here coming into the foreground, perhaps. And in the background, I think I'll get in some mountains. Okay. Just kind of basic ones like that. And then the top can just be sky. Maybe get in another tree of some sort here. Okay, I think this should be fine for a quick little sketch. And I'm going to use the Squirrel mop brush. Let's get in some sky, a bit of cerulean blue. I should be able to cover this all in one wash like that. It's the great thing about these mop brushes. You don't have to keep picking up paint again and revisiting it. So that's it. The house itself, I'm going to leave white. Maybe add a bit of brown on the rooftop. Like a yellowish brown color here. Great. And I reckon I'll swap over to the round brush now and mix myself up a bit of green. This is a number 6 round. I think a number 10 round would be better, actually. So let's just get the 10 round. And the cool thing is, like, if you just want to use round brushes, you can just have all 3 of them set up with the 10, 6, and 2. If you don't want to use any of the other ones, or at least not for most bits and pieces. So here, yeah, that 10 is perfect. That's as you can see, it's really able to cover larger area that I want. And there we go. We've got some of these trees in. It's a really quick wash like that. There's a bit of water behind here just running through the back. I'm going to get that in like some river or something there. And then the rest of it is all just green. So let's try this mop brush now, that dual tone mop brush. And I'm going to pick up some yellow, mix it in with some cerulean blue to get like a very, very light green. Need to mix some more water in there. Yep. And let's just get a bit more water in. There we go. I hadn't completely wet the brush then. But see how smooth that wash is, because I haven't had to kind of go back into it again and again. The background stuff, I'm going to use maybe a purplish green color. Purplish green color should be good. That maybe some brown in there as well. I'm using this same mop brush, but I can swap as well to this other mop brush that I have, the single tone mop brush. That's not the Squirrel one. Squirrel single tone. Yeah, it's amazing how well it can cut around things, like without losing its shape. Look at that. That's pretty incredible. Around there. Let's pick up some other color. I'm running out of paint. Okay. Great. And might just add in some details. Let's get in some details for these trees. And I think using the smaller round brush will be great. This is like the detailing one. Number 6 or number 2 will be great for this. Get in these like bits of bottom parts of the trees anyway. You know, in the windows, I could darken here in the windows. And also maybe I'm thinking to put in a shadow here underneath the rooftop. There we go. Maybe a shadow here as well. Another window here that I forgot to add on, like that. And look, I mean, this is no masterpiece. This is probably one of the most simplest paintings, drawings / paintings that I've ever done. But you can see how the brushes perform, I guess, technique-wise. And let's grab some more of this green. I might add some here for these shrubs. All right. Some shadows running to the right, perhaps. And that's getting like a darker shape here at the base, like of some, maybe another object running in from the left-hand side. And a bit of darkness on the right-hand side of these trees. I'm going to emphasize a shadow. Getting one here, maybe. I could do. Yeah, these brushes lend very well to my style of painting, this sort of loose loose kind of style. All right, that's the finished result after drying it off. Okay, so let's try a full watercolor painting now, and I'm gonna do one of this nice flower field. And this is a scene from an area in Sweden, and I'm gonna just draw in some of the main details here before I actually get into the painting itself, because I need a bit of guidance here before I get into it. Another house there, something in the back as well, but there's like a tree in front there, some wooden boards and all that stuff. Let's get in this top of the house. There, it comes down. And there's like a door and windows. Yeah, this one. There are some bits and pieces there. I'll get that in afterwards, but there's another house to the left, another structure here as well. There we go. That should do me okay. Maybe we might put some people here, a couple of people walking into the scene, and perhaps a tree as well, like something closer to the scene. I'm going to get maybe the shadow to run left. I'll put another one in here in front, so it's like a 2-tree thing. Good, bit of a perspective. So firstly, I'm going to use that mop brush to get in some of this this beautiful yellow field. Unfortunately, I've actually mixed green in there, so it's like a bit contaminated with green, but we'll make do with it. So I'm trying to just get this as yellow as I can. Okay, there we have it. Look at that. You can just paint the whole thing in just a few brush strokes. I've accidentally picked up some other paint. That's no big deal. There we go. So something like that for the flowers. Now for the background, I'm going to start perhaps, let's think first. I think I will go into the rooftop and get some reddish kind of value, reddish or warm kind of value for the roof. Okay. And in fact, it kind of, it's really, really light. This is just the number 10 round brush. Here we go. Just the roof. The side of the building's more of like a brown color, like a burnt sienna color. So let's just get that in here. Good. Time for the burnt sienna bit, the side of the building, or like a brownish value anyway. That. And here as well. It's kind of like a backing color. Great. Here, same sort of deal. Might make the roof here like a little bit more warmer in color. And this one here as well. And we'll go a bit of darkness underneath. Good. All right, so all this stuff in the background I can pretty much get in with the larger brush. So I'm going to go back to that same mop brush, this one here with the duotone hairs, and maybe go with the sky first, cerulean blue, a nice wash of that to begin with. Okay, and maybe a little bit of darker blue up the top, like this. Okay, and look at that. There's just a few brush strokes that's done it. I'm going to now mix up some kind of green, I guess. So blue and Yellow. Okay, let's have a look how that color looks. Probably could do with some more like blue in there. Okay. So, yep, just changing this around now. All these trees in the background, I want to make sure that I get them to be darker than the rooftops. So let's check this out. Just cut around the rooftops like that. And wow, that was pretty easy. It hasn't even completely dried yet, these rooftops. I've been a bit in a hurry to paint these in. Maybe I can sharpen this out a little more like that. Okay. I might have to go back into it later. We'll see. There. And then you've got these other trees and stuff. The thing with all these trees is that they come in different sort of tones. Like some of them are a bit more darker than others, and some are lighter. So yeah, you want to express that by using different values of green. Wow, okay. It's not bad. Here, let's put in some gouache, some white gouache here, kind of make it opaque, kind of green. I'm just surprised that I'm able to paint this all with the same brush, the same mop brush. If I had a larger bit of paper, it would be so much easier as well. But even on a small bit of paper like this, it's surprisingly effective. Okay, so yeah, I'm just cutting around these houses and what have you. I'll add in a bit of neutral tint to make a much darker value now, because there are some darker trees and stuff out in the distance like that. So I'm going to just imply those all the way in the background there. Okay. Good. Now, these houses here are going to need to be dulled down a bit, and the shadows need to be added in. So, the first place is maybe underneath here, and this section here of the house. Okay, so really just dark value, purple, black, whatever. Detailing brush number, what's this? What's number 10 actually? But it does function as a detailing brush as well. That. Okay. Great. Fantastic. Now there are some trees here in the back. I'm going to switch to the number 2 detailing brush, and this can just indicate some of these vertical trees and stuff running over into the background where I don't want to add too much complexity. This also kind of helps to, with the perspective. You can see here in this field there's like these marks of the tractors and the machinery that's gone over that section, so just added in a bit of line work there. And I haven't forgotten that I anticipated, or I'm putting in a tree of some sort, so, or a couple of trees. So there's one here, and I believe one here that I tried to put in before, I at least indicate. So I'm just gonna add that in like that. Something like this. Maybe this will come forwards more. And yeah, the shadow may be running this way across the field. Of course, we've got these 2 people that I painted in or before this. Drawn in before. We can add them in there. get their shadow kind of coming across as well. It doesn't need to be too obvious. And I maybe thought having another shadow coming in from the distance, like in the background, is also good. Like outside of the scene is what I mean. Like that. From an invisible object. Another tree or something like that. Okay. Little small details maybe on the side of the house for the planks of wood. Tops here. It was this part where I was thinking whether I could add in some extra darkness behind it to bring out the shed, the house, like that as well. Just leave some of that previous wash. Alrighty, so I hope this video and the demonstrations were helpful for you. If you have questions, just let me know down below in the comments and I will get back to you. But yeah, overall, I think this is a really good idea in terms of reducing the size of, reducing the size of these 6 brushes down to just these three little things that you can pop into a case, carry that around when you're traveling. I think this is going to be my new urban sketch kit. I do use these at home as well, and they're probably going to be replacing these ones. They're still actually okay. These synthetic tips actually last for quite a while. And in terms of these mop brushes, I think all of them perform extremely well, especially considering the price that you're paying for them. And I have tried synthetic mop brushes in the past. I don't really like them because I find that they're just a bit too rigid and they don't have the softness that you get with natural animal hair. They also don't hold as much water. So yeah, normally I've used a Squirrel mop brush, but these two, I'm still not sure what kind of hair they're using in it, but they work just as well. In fact, I think they hold, this one here particularly holds a better tip than the Squirrel mop brush. So yeah, let me know down below if you have any questions and I'll get back to you. I've also left a link down in the description if you want to get this brush set here with these 6 different brushes or one of these mop brushes. And yeah, like the video, share it around if you found it helpful. I'll catch you all next time.